Hi guys. Um, now that's okay. I have a very special announcement. I was, I guess you could say I just decided to, the breeder that I mentioned in my previous videos yesterday, I decided, you know what, I want to know just what I'm getting myself into. Because, I bred my hamster on purpose. And it cost me $30 in total for 3 weeks and 3 weeks of my time. I was lucky I got the maximum 14 babies and they all survived, but it took every 3 hours waking up to feed the mom extra protein just to prevent her from cannibalizing in case she needed nutrition. So I basically offered the mom all the nutrition she could want. It cost me an extra $30 as opposed to not having the hamster babies. And, you know, it was only 3 weeks of my time, and it was only 1 week that I had to do the extra feedings. I wanted to know just how misguided I was in what I was thinking. So I decided to be honest and tell her, this is what happened. I still don't know what's what, who's who. I figured Speedo's a boy, but I haven't figured out if this was a girl. And I said, this is what happened on this day, and this is what led to today, and what led me to contemplate, breeding them might be fun. Then I'll definitely know if this is a mom, because if it's a mom, it'll have a babies, obviously, and it'll be the one nursing. So even if I miss the delivery on video, I will know who's the one nursing, And plus, I already figured out this is a boy, the only question is this a boy or a girl, but I decided to ask her for her opinion, like, what if? So I told her, like, my plan to have an experiment. I'll just let nature take its course, and if she has babies, then she's a girl, obviously, right? But I wanted to know, because she is a breeder, I'm like, are there anything I haven't foreseen, like anything that could go wrong? Obviously, one of the things I'm concerned about is losing my own babies, my own two chins in the process. The other thing is, I'm under the impression it cost me maybe $100 in supplies, extra chew sticks for the couple weeks. Here's the funny part: couple weeks that I might have the babies while they're here until I rehome them. And she was telling me, pet shop babies aren't the best to breed them from, because you wonder why, the breeder sells it to the pet shop for very cheap. Why don't they sell it themselves? It's probably because there's something maybe wrong with them. They don't guarantee the health, so it makes it very questionable. And then you're breeding them. She was worried I'd get mad. That's why she never brought it up. But I told her no, I wouldn't get mad. And that's the reason I even emailed her, and I told her, look, this is what I was thinking about doing, but now I'm having some doubts, because after speaking to her about the fungus, she was so educated that she picked it out of a photo that just showed my baby holding a treat in his hand. If she can discern a fungus from a picture, and I'm looking at the same picture and I only see a cute chinchilla, I wonder what else I don't know, hamsters is a very short commitment, and even so, raising them is only 2 years, max 5 years. But chinchillas, if they live like 17 years, what if you don't rehome them? You're gonna end up with a maximum of 6 babies plus the mom and dad. And then of course, if they don't get along, I'll have like 8 cages, because I still have to remember that there might be one day when these guys don't get along. I am prepared for that. When I brought home 2 chinchillas, I knew that there was a chance that they don't get along, but I was under assumption they were boys. But I just thought they might be a girl. This one might be a girl. So, I was prepared for that. But I realized I'm not prepared to have 8 cages. I can tell you that right now. And of course, knowing what I know about the pet store, I'm not going to dump these guys in the pet store. So what am I going to do with them? And then she's telling me about her breeding practice, and, how she's sometimes in the negative. Like, she doesn't even make money off the chinchilla she sells, and they're they have pedigrees. Your babies are just pet store ones. Hers are pedigrees, and she's telling me how sometimes she can have like $8,000 negative. And I'm like, I don't make that much. I make maybe a little over $21,000 a year. Can you imagine if I'm paying $750 for rent? Just do the math times 12. How much I really have to spend on my chins. And of course, I can't spend every dollar on the chins. And so this is an eye-opener, because I talked to her and I realized if she knows what she's doing and she's still not making money, can you imagine if I'm not planning to sell my baby? I don't plan to sell them. If I have babies, I plan to give them away. Of course, I was telling her, like, I don't know how to screen people because I don't even know what to look for in an adopter, and these are chinchillas. And the thing is, I'm not a breeder, so I'm not prepared to take them back if something goes wrong with adoption. So what am I going to do if I breed them and I end up lucky and get 6 babies, and then the people adopt it and then bring it back? I'm not going to take it back. But I also can't watch them go to a shelter. That would really hurt to know that too. And then I found out from her that they stay with the mom for about 2.5 months. That's a lot of work and a lot of time. And I don't care about the profit, but I don't know if I have the finances to do that. So anyway, she referred me to the forum, which I signed up for, I think yesterday or the day before. But there was another person that had a similar situation, 2 pet store babies like mine, and one turned out to be a girl like mine. Yes, Nala is a girl. They told me to do the burrito thing, but the towel thing is really hard because Nala's just so fluid and fast, and I don't want to frighten Speedo while I'm trying to grab Nala. So what I just did was I put on fleece gloves. They're Olympic ones I got from the 2010 Olympics, I think it was. I just put on a pair of fleece gloves and just prayed that she wouldn't bite me, and just did it really quickly. And she kind of fought me a little bit, but it wasn't very violent. She just kind of, wiggled and, squirmed a lot. But I managed to check her, and the best thing I can do to describe it, in case anybody out there doesn't know, is just go and take a look. It looks like a Hershey Kiss. You know the chocolate with the tin foil and a little piece of paper sticking out of it, the Hershey Kisses in a bag? Well, that's exactly what the genitals of a girl looks like, the cone. Because I was very confused if Speedo was a girl because they mentioned something like a cone. Don't be confused with the penis. So the penis is much longer and it's not as cute. It's not as pointy like a Hershey Kiss. The boy is just a penis. I mean, short of going online, looking and Googling a photo, I don't know what else to tell you about a penis. Okay, there's nothing fancy about that. Just think of the wood chew sticks. It's nothing fancy. You can't go wrong with that. The cone, on the other hand, looks like a Hershey Kiss. It's very uniform and it's very nice. It's almost like a cake, but it's pointed. So that's all I can tell you. So I checked, and while I was at it, I decided to double check Speedo. Speedo is a male, guaranteed, because I viewed it, but I also looked this time. Because I've never actually handled Speedo, except for, grabbing it with a towel. But I've actually grabbed him and I checked. He didn't bark at me, luckily. And then Nala I checked too, so I now know that I have a boy and a girl, guaranteed. So I then inquired from this breeder. I asked her, okay, so now what? Do you know any good breeders? Because a lot of vets will say they can deal with exotics, but it doesn't mean they specialize or they know what they're doing. And the last thing I want to do is to prevent a pregnancy and a death in my mom chin, or the dad. In this case, she said they can sometimes turn violent and moody. The last thing I want is to then find a dead chin because the operation got messed up or something, Because I don't know anything about the operation, I'm just trusting the vet to know what they're doing, right? So she did tell me one that's in Vancouver. Unfortunately, they were closed today, so I couldn't call in to inquire how much it's going to cost. But I do know that the sooner I do the snipping, the better. I'm going to snip Speedo. I'm not going to do the mum. I'm just going to hope that she's not pregnant yet. Because otherwise, I'm looking at 1 litter, and if so, I'm just going to have to pray I get lucky with rehoming. Hopefully, maybe the online forum can help me with the rehoming. How to screen properly so I don't end up with, bad homes I put them in. I don't want to regret it when I rehome them and worry about their safety and how well they'll be cared for. But the first priority is to separate and snip Speedo. Unfortunately, I can't get a cage today. Definitely not. I can get a carrier, which is what she recommended. My concern is the carrier is plastic. The only carriers I can think of are plastic. I don't know if that will be good enough. That's why I was thinking of getting the add-on unit. I'm actually going to go and head out now and go and inquire about it and build it. It does mean that I won't be able to get the flying saucer probably anytime soon. I'll have to look into it. It's very, very risky. If I do the operation and the flying saucer and the add-on unit, I'm going to be in debt. And the debt will not be paid because of my interest rate, probably until January. So I'm going to be looking at 1 month of interest. I don't know how to calculate the interest, which is why I prefer not to owe them any money. But the carrier is the cheapest thing, but the thing is also after I snip Speedo, I'm looking at all these other accessories and stuff, and the only time I need to put Speedo in a carrier is during the recovery. So I was thinking, should I spend extra money on a carrier, or should I just get the extra cage? Because don't forget, I could still end up with babies right now. That's my only concern. So if that's the case, then the add-on unit would be a better investment than a carrier. But of course, she mentioned that he shouldn't be too active, otherwise he could ruin his stitches. So I'm gonna go and find out just how much the cage costs, because I never inquired about an add-on unit because it was very far down the road. But I think it's 109. And I think that's the best thing, because if I get the add-on unit, what I plan to do is just build it, but don't put it on here. I'm just not going to put it on the cage. Then Speedo will be separated. I'll take away the actual shelving. The add-on unit is this thing to here, just to here, no shelving unit underneath. And then I'll just take this thing away. And he won't have any ledges. And I'll probably just wash the snuggle so I can give it to him, so there's no climbing. Give him one of the water bottles, and I have an extra food dish. I have fleece. I can, I'll just do laundry more often. It's only for about a week or so, she said. So, I'm thinking like long term, what do I want to spend my money on, and acquire the least amount of expenses. Because I wasn't planning on any kind of expense right now. I mean, sure, if I'm willing to take this thing out, it's possible I could just, leave Speedo in here. But I don't know, because they sometimes go bananas at night. They go really crazy in here. So I don't want him to rip his stitches out and then have complications, because that would be really expensive. So I'm going to go and head out, and I'm going to just find out just how much it costs. Obviously, because I'm getting him snipped, it will mean that I will not be getting the second cage anytime soon. It will really push it back, but I think now that I'm sure and there's no guessing, I think I should do the right thing, because originally I was going to let him breed and that would tell me definitely if she's a girl or not, obviously, but I think I'd rather just snip and be sure, because she's telling me how it could easily be 1,500 if she gets pregnant and she has complications, like she can't deliver properly. Because I don't even know how old she is, too. Don't forget, I'm taking the pet shop's word for it that she's 3 months old. So she's approximately 3.5 months old right now. But I don't know how to check for complications even. She told me I can check with like a thumb and, measure and all that to see if she can deliver the baby safely. But if anything goes wrong, I'm looking at maybe even $1,500 for a C-section. I definitely can't afford that. So I think it's best to snip him as soon as possible. I guess alternatively, I could put him in the shower stall. That's easy. I have glass doors. Very nice. It's not a bathtub. It's a shower stall. It's a full-size shower stall, like a bathtub size. And I could just do that. That would be the easiest. And then when I take a shower, just put him in a carrier. But I have very little use for the carrier, so I didn't want to invest in one so soon, given my options, but I'll think about it. And don't forget, even if I have babies, I guess I could keep them in here, or at least when the babies arrive, then I could buy the add-on unit. I guess that's an option too. She did recommend a carrier, and I'm thinking I should just listen to her instead of getting the add-on unit and then maybe somehow regretting it because something I didn't foresee. I'm going to go out and take a look. I'm going to give them a call and see if they're even open, the store that I'm going to go look at. Okay, guys, I will upload this as soon as I can, but probably not until tonight, because I got to get this ball rolling. A few days ago, Speedo wagged his tail at Nala. I don't know how many days she's in heat, but I know it's a couple days. So it's possible she's still in heat. And she's been very sleepy. I don't know if that's because she's not eating as much or because she's, I don't know, busy making a baby inside. I don't know. Like I said, too many unanswered questions. Not a good idea to breed something I don't know about. So, wish me luck that everything goes smoothly here.